it is absolutely important to ensure that you are showing up in that answer, right? So it used to be if you showed up on the first page of Google, you were doing really well. Now it can't just be the first page, it has to be the AI answer itself.
Welcome back. I'm Antonia Fatizzi, founder of Cork and Tin, here with Justin Nolan, VP of Digital Experience for Treasury Americas. This is part 2 of our video series on the intersection of AI and spirit brands. And today we're going to be talking about the bridge from strategy to execution. I think it makes sense to start from the beginning and where many people can get a bit stuck. What makes a good, strong, effective prompt, Justin? And equally, if you feel like you're not getting what you need out of AI, what's the best thing to do in that moment?
Good, strong, effective prompt begins with context. Context, context, context. The more information that you can provide the AI about what you're trying to accomplish, the better off you're going to be. So start with literally telling the AI what you want it to act like. Do you want it to be a social media manager? Do you want it to be an insights manager? What are you trying to have it do for you? I always think about AI as an absolutely incredibly brilliant intern. So if you start with this fact that, yeah, they're smart, they know an awful lot of things and have access to more information, but they're an intern. So explain to them exactly how you want it, the things to happen, right? So who do you want them to be? What do you want them to be like? And then explain the entire problem. Explain exactly what you're looking to get, and then explain what you want out of it. What do you want the end output to be? My end output needs to be a 7 paragraph blog. My end output needs to be a bullet format where you give me the 10 best things that come out of this piece of material that we have. I want you to be an executive at my company that's going to look at my report and tell me, what are the 10 questions that are most likely to be asked by my board members or by my investors so that I can be more prepared for the future. A great prompt is all about context. And sometimes it's that going back and forth with it. But I will say one of my favorite tricks, if you don't know what kind of prompt to write, remember AIs work in natural language processing. You don't have to be technical for this stuff. If you don't know what prompt to write, ask the AI, what prompt should I write if I want to accomplish, and then just write the paragraph in your words of what you're trying to accomplish. And the AI will help you with that prompt. Or if it's gets to a point where it's like, I've got this for you, but I'm still not 100%, then tell the AI, please ask me 5 more questions about what I'm trying to accomplish so that you can help me write the best prompt available. And it will go through that. It'll say, okay, now I get it. Here's all the different context points I need to really deliver that output that you're looking for. So I know that's a lot to start with, but if you go back to context, the more that you can tell the AI about what you want to accomplish, what you're expecting of it, the better the output is going to be. And if you're not finding that the output is working for you, first remember it takes a lot of back and forth. It's not necessarily that the first time you deliver a prompt that it's going to give you everything that you want. It's going to take a little bit, and that's really the way the pros work with AIs is a continuous conversation, a continual manipulation of the words that we're using, maybe changing up some of the words because it thinks luxury is different than how I think luxury is. So adapting that language and changing it up. But I will say one of my favorite tricks is think about AI is trying to statistically give you the most likely outcome that you're looking for. And I say that with a true meaning of math. It's all ones and zeros. It is an AI is not a true creative brain. Looking at the statistics of what is the most likely output that is what this person is looking for. And if you have a really long thread of lots and lots of different things that you've been asking for over, the last couple of days, and it's a lot of different topics, it can lose the context. It can lose an understanding. It might be starting to take aspects of your earlier conversations and build it into this piece as well. So it's like, I don't really know what this person wants. We were just talking about a spaghetti dinner and now they need, board updates. Like this doesn't work. So start a new thread.
Right.
If you
Right.
really are
Right.
getting to a point where you're getting lost, start a new thread. Start over again. Take all of the other context away and start afresh.
That makes a lot of sense, and thanks for bringing the data points behind it into the conversation. We talked in the last video about not losing the essence of a brand when we are working with AI in the context of marketing. So, what recommendations would you have to incorporate a brand strategy into a prompt?
So definitely. So directly into a prompt, continuing to ensure that, and I always like it if I have a single document that outlines my brand, that outlines my brand story, my brand tone of voice, the kinds of content that we like to play in, right? The kinds of things that we want to talk about, the kinds of things that we don't want to talk about. So in that sort of pros and cons list. Then, if I had that document just sitting on my laptop, every time I'm going into a new session with an AI and I'm actually asking for brand content, I'm actually asking for brainstorming of new ideas or, help with a sales sheet, for a retailer, I can always attach that brand page so that every time it's getting the same information about the brand so that it can be much more consistent, but also helps me ensure that it's delivering the right voice with the right stories over and over again. You can always also refer to it and say, just take information available from our website so that it's not necessarily looking at other online information or other sources or other things. But if you have a plethora of brand stories and things on your own website, use the URL and say, just take information from here and help me pull together a sales sheet for this retailer, things like that. So there's lots of ways that you can use it, but it's really helpful to ensure that you are giving it the direction of what your brand is across the board.
And what I'm hearing in that is how much consistency is playing a part in this. And that is something that I talk to my clients constantly about, is that their website should not look markedly different than their social media, which should not sound terribly different than what they're giving on sell sheets. I mean, they all have their audiences, their respective audiences, of course, and the nuances in the story that you bring out for each application. But we shouldn't be talking apples, oranges, pears, oh my, right? That does that's jumping off point from the first iteration, I think is really critical. Um, Speaking of social media, I see a lot of smaller brands focusing almost entirely on social media as far as their budget's concerned. Consumers are increasingly asking AI tools for recommendations. So, if I own a small distillery, what's one or two practical changes I should make to my website to show up more clearly?
Yeah, so we're definitely seeing search volume using AI increase dramatically. And at some point, it will overtake regular search volume. And part of that is people using things like ChatGPT or Gemini. The other part of it is simply those tool sets like Google are incorporating AI into the responses that they give, even in a regular search. So it is absolutely important to ensure that you are showing up in that answer, right? So it used to be if you showed up on the first page of Google, you were doing really well. Now it can't just be the first page, it has to be the AI answer itself. So, practical website changes. First and foremost, AI, as it relates to your brand, will, for the most part, see your website as the strongest authoritative answer for questions about your brand, for questions about your products. Think like specifics, like, what's the ABV of my product? It's definitely going to look to your website and say, they're probably the ones that know it the best. Um, so that's a big component, but you need to make sure if an AI is going to look to you as the authority signal for your brand, that you are providing content in a way that they can ingest it. So data structuring is sort of the technical word for it, but it's ensuring that the information on your product pages, the information on every aspect of your website is in a way that an AI can look at it, understand it, and be able to offer it back to their consumers. So, what are you looking for? Right away at the top of the page, a clear definition: who we are, what we do. Here's what the product is. Um, if it's a long, story, a long history, I don't know if a TLDR, but too long didn't read sections at the very top are great. Here, what's my 5 bullet points? If you were to tell, like, if you were asking me the history of my brand, the history of our company, what's the story? We definitely want to see the entire length of the context, but what are those 5 bullet points? What are those things that if an AI doesn't get to anything else, what do you want it to read? Perfect. Those are the two kind of most important aspects of it, making sure the data is structured appropriately and giving it information upfront as quickly as possible. From there, a- AI engines don't look at things the same way that a search engine would, right? So it's not about backlinks back to your website that give you authority. It's about what people are actually saying. So it's about what a critic or a high authority signal is saying about you and the volume of it. But it's also quite a bit more than that. It's not necessarily just the critics. It's social media is indexed. So it's what is everybody saying? It's almost a bit more democratized than your standard SEO. So thinking about how you can ensure that those voices that are out there are all talking about your brand and talking about them in a way that you would like them to.
So it sounds like if a brand were to get a rating or a write up in a magazine, or it be listed, in a roundup, for example, that it should be hitting that website quickly, as quickly as they're doing it in their Instagram stories, for example.
Yeah, as much as possible. I mean, this is almost a renaissance of public relations. The more that you can have your brand out there with, journalists and authority, figures that can put it into media, the better off. But you made a really good point of the ongoing maintenance of websites and the continued updates, and the more consistent you can be with how you talk about your brand and how you talk about your products, the more likely it is that AI will pick up on that consistency. If you want to be the most refreshing product out there, continually using that word in relationship to your brand name is really important, not just on your own website, but in the ask if you do influencer campaigns, and the ask, when you're pitching a journalist or a story, you want it to be being picked up in that reference, because that is how AI can pull together all of those unstructured, you know, paragraphs of context out there and bring it back in, so that when somebody asks an AI, what's the most refreshing beverage I can bring to a summer picnic? That's when you've got a better shot of being the answer.
And I think it's important to call out that these are things that work today in early 2026. But this is a component that is just changing at a dizzying pace. I honestly don't know how you stay across all of it. But I think it makes sense to recommend that one tries to stay abreast of these changes at least every quarter, if not every month. And in your role at Treasury, you've structured AI education internally in phases for your staff. But for a founder team of one or two people, how should they pace themselves in terms of upskilling themselves?
Yeah. So the first and foremost, I just think that you should be supportive. So if you're a leader at any organization, whether it's large or small, being supportive of staff members, not just learning AI, but using it on a day-to-day basis. There's a lot. Almost like it's a red herring. Like, oh, they used AI for that. Like it's a bad thing, and that's just not true anymore. I mean, we even had stories of like our own teams that are like, oh, I have this huge long report, but I need an executive brief to send out, and leaders on the teams here basically saying, no. We don't do that anymore. That's not something our teams spend time on because an AI can handle that for us. It can do it good enough. It gets us where we need to be. So just being supportive of your staff, using AI, learning AI, and coming up with new ideas and trying to utilize it is huge. It's important.
It's fantastic. On the flip side, what's one common mistake smaller teams should avoid when they start experimenting with AI?
The first thing I always say is not having a human in the loop, right? AIs make mistakes.
Hmm.
Know that an AI make mistakes. Don't just copy and paste an AI's work and put it out there because it's not the AI's reputation on the line, right? It's still yours. It's still your brand. It's still your company. It's still yours personally, even within an organization. So always double check it. Make sure that you're getting what you want out of it, and don't rely on it to be 100% accurate all the time.
Thanks so much, Justin. If you're building a small spirits brand today, you are well aware that you're competing with companies that have larger teams and larger budgets. AI won't replace strategy or creativity, but it can give smaller teams leverage. If this was helpful, subscribe to Park Street University on YouTube for more insights from expert advisors across the industry. Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to hit the subscribe button to keep up with the latest beverage alcohol industry insights from Park Street University.